Hunkpapa, Oyape, and my young relatives and my Hunkpapa youth friends. Today I want to talk to you about something powerful, something ancient, and something that can help us understand one of the toughest challenges facing our people today, methamphetamine addiction. You might think of addiction as just a sickness or a bad choice, but our ancestors, our Lakota people, had ways of understanding these struggles that go much deeper. They saw them as battles against powerful forces, sometimes even as a kind of demonic possession. And when we look at it through their eyes, we find not just warnings, but also pathways to freedom. Many of you might not have heard of these stories compared to something like meth addiction before, but listen closely, because our old ways, our traditional knowledge, holds the wisdom that can guide us even now. The core of the possession, Hunkcheche. Let us start with a spirit that speaks directly to the heart of this struggle. Hunkcheche. This isn't just some monster out in the woods. You taught me that Hunkcheche is a very personal demon, born from our own ways, and think about that for a moment. This means that it just isn't an outside attack. It's a spiritual sickness that we, through our own actions and choices, can create within ourselves. It is a profound concept of self-defilement. What attracts Hunkcheche? It is specifically drawn and thrives on sexual deviance. They go hand in hand. When we look at methamphetamine addiction, we see a strong connection to risky and compulsive sexual behavior. From our traditional perspective, these actions can open the door, inviting Hunkcheche to take an even deeper hold. The physical signs of meth addiction, the way it makes our bodies look when they're rotting from within, the odor of death and decay, these are just not physical symptoms. They are the visible signs of Hunkcheche's spiritual corruption. This demon causes evil to occur among the people through the addict's actions, the neglect of family, the harm to children, the broken trust, broken families, whatever. And because Hunkcheche is an earth spirit deeply entwined with our physical being and action, it cannot be easily caught or easily banished by simple means. It's there. We create it, our collective consciousness in this thing is creating this demonic force that is taking over the Hunkpapa community slowly, one person at a time. When someone hits rock bottom, like losing their children or their family, or, that's just not a consequence of the physical world. It's the tragic external manifestation of Hunkcheche's destructive influence, stemming from that internal spiritual decay. One other malevolent forces in our stories, well, Hunkcheche is at the heart of this. Our Lakota stories are often full of other powerful forces that can bring chaos and imbalance, much like addiction does. Hunkcheche, the monster that eats people. This is a fearsome reptilian monster, a great serpent that embodies immense and untamed destructive power. It's associated with floods, disappearances, and death. Hunkcheche's presence can cause blindness and madness, and its touch is poisonous. Think of the overwhelming, consuming force of meth addiction, how it devours a person's life, their health, their relationship, leaving ruin in its wake. This is a powerful parallel to Hunkcheche. See that he just puts them like in a meat grinder, and then we're supposed to, oh wow, we feel sorry. We feel sorry, but then, it's their choice. We have to get them before they go through that whole process. There's hope. I've seen it. I see it. But here, there's no resources. On this reservation, they have millions and millions of dollars, but no intervention, no nothing. You just sit there and watch, and then they let the feds try to do it. The arresting the meth lord or something. It doesn't do anything. It just increases more people. Whenever you arrest one meth lord, two replace it. So it exponentiates like that. They arrest those two meth lords, there'll be four. You know, the rest goes to there be 8. And then it goes on, you know, it doesn't stop. You cannot attack meth that way. You cannot remove it. You have to remove the person from it. You have to quit struggling against it and just uh, accept that they're powerless against it. And then when they do that, the messaging just kind of because they're fighting for their addiction. They're fighting for meth. Whenever you try to stop them from using it, you're fighting a demon, and we're not powerful enough to confront that demon. All we can do is trick it into letting us go. I used meth before. I seen people, you know, back in my day, meth was used because when the cocaine ran out, you know, everybody was using cocaine. The people here, now they're almost all gone. I'm one of the few that's still surviving. But all my friends that were hard users of cocaine, they used meth, and their women got strung out meth, became skinny and whatever. You know, I've seen it all. You can't say there's anything new, but I always see these hypocrites in tribal council and in the communities getting up there saying, we need counseling programs, we need to, these are treaty issues. I said, no, these are spiritual issues that are reflected in the decay of our whole communities. Look at our communities are blighted. You know, it's just sad. I mean, holy cow, we're just letting the whole Hunkpapa community collapse in on itself as a result of this mess, you know. So anyway, Iktomi, the trickster spider. Iktomi is a central figure in our storytelling, known for being cunning, deceitful, and self-serving. He is not a demon in the sense of possession, but his influence could cause people to make bad choices, act against the better judgment, cause chaos. His tricks manipulate and disrupt. This is the way addiction tricks your mind, makes you lie, makes you manipulate and set you against your loved ones. Then there's the source of all evil things. You know, I think they called like a pile of, what do you call it? Anyway, associated with quarrels and conflicts, her influence brings disharmony to families and communities, contributing to the breakdown of society. Here's another one. Ganashkia, evil spirit of confusion. Ganashkia is known for causing confusion and chaos, distorting wisdom, and leading people away from the good path. This is like the confusion and paranoia and distorted thinking that meth addiction brings, making it impossible to see clearly and make good decisions. You can't argue a meth addict. You can't tell them all the things they're going wrong, they're doing wrong and all that. They have to experience that themselves. They know that what they're doing is wrong, but everybody telling them that makes the meth demon, makes them choose the meth demon rather than taking care of their families, whatever, you know, quitting. Because you could just quit. That's the whole secret of meth. You could just quit. You know, that's it. You just have to say, I quit this stuff, and that's it. I've seen a lot of people do it. You know, there's the imperative of proper resources for healing. See, that's what the tribe is letting these people encouraging them to just use meth here, basically, you know, without providing any type of alternative social events. You know, to where people can see each other and gather. Nowadays, we can't even gather because it'll start a fight, or people are trying to get political or whatever, start swinging at each other, or hating each other, or backstabbing each other, backbiting each other. That just never ends. I mean, we've got to understand that our communities, by going away from the old ways, you know, we're self-extincting ourselves. You know, we're causing ourselves to go down that road to where we become just completely gone. Where the Hunkpapa are just completely gone. We're too busy being individuals to learn how to be Hunkpapa again. Anyway, the imperative proper resources for healing. Understanding meth addiction as a spiritual affliction by Iktomi highlights a crucial truth. We need the right resources for healing. Western treatment models focusing only on the physical or mental might not be enough. Healing requires a profound spiritual approach that addresses the root defilement and the distorted behaviors. This means we need culturally specific interventions, traditional healers, purification rituals, and return to our sacred ways that emphasize purity, balance, and communal responsibility. We speak of the Ukcheki ceremony, a specific sacred ceremony involving summoning the demon attended by women on their moon cycle, and a time of intense spiritual power and cleansing, and including blood offerings of the menstrual. Anyway, the purpose is to directly ask Umcheki what they can do to stop the meth demonic possession. That's what they did a long time ago. They'd done this before, but they were seeing the Bigfoot guy, and that's really Umcheki. That's why they could never catch him. But the white people want to see him. I don't want to see him, because if you see him, you can have bad luck and stuff. The old people said that he's not a good person. He's more of a reflection of our bad intent, of our lust and all the addictions and the alcohol and all that other evil stuff that is associated with that. If we didn't have those things, it wouldn't happen. Okay, that's the reality of it. If we didn't have alcohol, meth here, those bad things wouldn't happen at all. But anyway, we have to ask the demon, though, what we can do. Why is he inflicting us? Because that's what's happening. He's coming here. That's the thing about these demons. They have to tell you. You can't just, because that's not, it's not. Anyway, without access to the specific, sacred, and culturally appropriate ceremonies and practices, individuals are left to battle this demon alone. This allows Ukcheki to continue its internal decay and leading to intensified self-destruction and further manifesting the consequences of the meth demon's grip. See, the tribe, it has millions of dollars. It could easily hire people to hold the ceremonies, hire a medicine man and stuff for 24/7 or something like that to come over and help try to remove demonic influences in the house, by smudging and praying and all this other stuff, singing. Those things scare out the demon, The demon does not like happiness, does not like people who are not scared of it, that are no longer in doubt about the demon's presence and his power to possess people. Because once you realize that it's easy to get rid of this meth, then the demon just, boom, he's gone, He might leave a wreck or whatever, but then we don't want to allow people to end up having to hit rock bottom like that. We hit this. I mean, it's more than just alcohol too. It's people. They want help. They want to be helped. They're not standing there saying, "Don't help me." They're screaming, "Help me! How can I get rid of this?" And we have the resources to help them come back to the land. We got to reconnect to the land and stuff, and that's been one of my big theories here, is that we forgot how to feed ourselves. And that was one of the things in the Black Snake prophecies, when people forget how to feed themselves, and they'll get sad and stuff, and there's other kind of bad things. But anyway, the heroic archetypes, the path to overcoming spiritual affliction. Our Lakota stories also teach us about heroes and how they overcome evil. It is not always about fighting with weapons. It is about wisdom, cunning, and spiritual strength. Tokahi, the hero of wisdom and obedience. Tokahi, the first one, wasn't a warrior who fought monsters. His strength was his wisdom and unwavering obedience to the Creator's instructions. When Iktomi and Anakete tried to trick our people, Tokahi refused to be swayed by the temptation. There's a real good story about that, but it deals with how he taught the two people, two men, that she trapped inside with spider web, and then she told them to quit fighting. He walked up there, just moving, and then she'll think you're dead, and then she'll cut you loose. And then she got mad. She saw what he did. He tricked him while she was wooing Tokahi. Those two guys got away, and she wanted to eat them. And she saw that he tricked them, so she turned into a big spider and caught up to them. Then she turned them into dogs. That's why we have dogs nowadays. So they were lusting after Iktomi, and a nugget there because she showed him a beautiful face and she didn't see the spider person. And then when she got him to her place, then he got stuck in the thing because he was thinking they were going to use her as a woman and stuff, and they're all happy. And then she got him inside the wheel. And it's a common story. You to, anyway, okay. Warriors of spiritual aid against monstrous threats. And yes, we have stories of warriors who directly confront or slay monsters like tequila. But even then, their victories often come from knowing the monster's weaknesses or through spiritual assistance like magical arrows or divine intervention. This shows us that courage is vital, but is often combined with knowledge and spiritual power. And the Heoka, mirroring the path to freedom. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, perhaps most relevant to meth addiction. The Heoka, our sacred clown shaman, plays a unique and vital role. Heokas are known for doing things backwards, being contrary or satirical. They are like a mirror, using their extreme behaviors to show us our own doubts, fears, hatreds, and weaknesses, forcing us to look at ourselves. They can shatter our perceptions and jolt us into seeing things differently. In the context of demonic possession, the Hoka helps by showing people how not to live, using their own unconventional actions to highlight the path to addiction. They make people see that getting rid of the demonic possession is actually easy. It requires them to quit struggling against the spider web of addiction they're caught in. Think of Iktomi, the trickster spider, as the demonic spider here. He is a master of illusion, setting people against each other with lies and petty differences. Every time you struggle, every time you give in to fear, every time you doubt yourself, you are calling that demonic spirit to come and suck out your spirit through your own thinking consciousness. The Heoka teaching reveals that once individuals quit struggling, quit fearing the monster, quit doubting themselves, they quit struggling against the meth spider web, and the demonic spider will cut them free from their demonic possession. This crazy wisdom aims to heal emotional pain and transmute negative energy by challenging complacency and encouraging vulnerability. I mean, you just got to give up. You just, I'm tired of this, I quit. And then all of a sudden, he'll just cut you out, and it'll be, then we could save you. Otherwise, you could struggle, and everybody's going to watch you like, oh, wow. Rate them at a score, 9, you wrecked your life, you did this, you did that, that meth destroyed you. 10, people they're look at it, at all the deaths and all that have occurred over the past year. I've been here for a year now, and I've seen everybody dying. And people just kind of like numb to it. 10, 15 people or so, a lot of it meth related. So I said, whoa, what's going on? Everybody's kind of goes in one ear and out the other. Anyway, so that's what the Heoka does. He comes here and he points the stuff out, Oh, wow, look at what I'm doing, It's a sad life. But anyway, conquering Umcheche, a path to spiritual purification. So when we talk about overcoming the demonic possession by Umcheche, the heroic act isn't a battle in the usual sense. It's a profound journey of spiritual purification, a return to our sacred ways. Since Umcheche is a self-created demon tied to defilement, saving people from its influences means restoring balance and purity within themselves and our community. The hero here might be the individual making the courageous choice to confront their own internal corruption, or it could be our community supporting them through traditional healing practices like the Umcheche ceremony. The heroic act is the commitment to that difficult, sometimes painful process of spiritual cleansing, rebalancing, and walking the sacred path once more. I have always walked it alone, so it's really sad. It's a hard path, but you gotta. It's what the children will see you. Someone says that the children see you. They listen to us and stuff. And then I see the guy also doing crazy stuff. So I said he must not want his children see him being crazy. But anyway, our conclusion, our strength in ancient wisdom my young relatives and older relatives, our Lakota heritage is not just history, it is a living, breathing guide for today. When we understand methamphetamine addiction not as just a sickness, but as a spiritual battle against forces like Ukshehe, we gain new tools and new hope. Our heroes, from Tokahe's wisdom to Iktomi's cunning, especially the Heoka's powerful unconventional teachings, shows us that there are many ways to fight and to heal. The ultimate goal is always to restore harmony and well-being by embracing our traditional knowledge, by seeking out our sacred ceremonies and healers, and by supporting each other as a community. We can find the strength to cut free from the spider web of addiction. We can reclaim our spirits, heal our bodies, and walk the good red world together. Pelama epano metakuase.